My love was in wood program, a little different than forestry, where forestry is more silviculture, the growing of trees. Where I've studied is more of the byproduct of the forest. So far, I've been able to identify 52 indigenous species to the state of Ohio on just this 12 acres. I found a hackberry, and a hackberry is actually a southern Ohio tree, and somehow, somehow a bird must have dropped a seed or something, but it's exciting to find species that aren't even native to this general area, where what was a field or a grass is now a forest coming back with multiple species of trees. I've planted a lot of acorns, and I see a lot of oak trees coming up from that. It was really good at the beginning, but the future is even brighter, is even better, because I have a forest appearing, in front of my eyes. And I did a small harvest, a select cut. 43 trees were removed, and it opened up. It released a lot of areas that were pretty much, there was no secondary growth coming in because the trees were so large and the canopy was so heavy. By taking those out, many saplings have come up, and it's just a better environment. I've girdled a lot of elm and some poplar that would never make good saw logs. I can only manage so much at one time, and if I girdle them, I'm going to kill the canopy to get sunlight in and release other trees. But I girdle them primarily because it does its job, and as either the wind takes them down or as I have time to take them down and cut it up into firewood for somebody, that's how I've done it, and for about the last 5 years it's been very successful. The multiflora rose is probably the hardest to maintain, just because it's so thorny, and it grows so fast. You need to chop the complete root system out or use chemical. I don't like to use chemical, but in some cases if you don't, then it just comes back. So I found that to be really successful on it, it's good to use a herbicide after you remove most of the plant, is to get the roots with a herbicide. I value the whole thing. The timber is very exciting to see the timber growth and the improvement in the timber, but the value of the wildlife is equally important to me, and the two work hand in hand, side by side. My forester actually called it rabbitat. Instead of habitat, he called it rabbitat, which is so true. Of the 15-20 brush piles that I've created, there's constantly rabbit in there, which brings birds of prey to feed on the rabbits. And if you build it like a log cabin and run the branches and big sections of trees and cross sections, it keeps the pile, it'll last longer, less wood is on the ground, it won't rot as quick, and it stimulates wildlife, birds, and especially rabbits. It was 2 springs ago, I was mushroom hunting and kicked up a grouse, and I'd been here, it was 8 years that I had been here, never heard a grouse drumming or never kicked up a grouse, and it was so exciting to see a grouse, and that wildlife is coming back in this area. I believe it was since 1978, 1979 when we had that terrible winter and killed a lot of quail and grouse in the northeast Ohio area. And to see it come back on my own property was exciting. Small woodlot owners like myself can make a big impact on the environment, because a little bit here and a little bit there makes a big, helps the big picture. If everybody would look at their small woodlots, like I do, to make it the very best habitat possible for wildlife and make it the very best for timber, these small successes knitted together make one big success story, in my opinion.